It's the Butch and Sundance Show.
This is nuts. This is nuts. 20 years ago, you'd be thrown in jail for saying something like this. If this doesn't make you question everything, I don't know what will.
He turns into a reptilian right now.
Oh my God. They wanted me to go full reptile. I didn't want to.
Really?
Yeah.
How does that even work? How does somebody come to you and say, hey, I want you to be a reptilian?
They see the potential that you can do to shift the culture.
Right.
And I chose to shift it myself.
So people actually will come to you and say, hey, I want you to be a reptilian. What does that entail?
It's more like, will you, it's basically like selling your soul. It's such a tricky,
you have to
tricky
sign,
thing to
like
say.
Ursula and the Little Mermaid, like sign on the dotted line. And
you have to give more than that.
Really?
Yeah.
Like a firstborn or like your left nut. Or
This whole reptilian phenomenon. What's going on right now?
I mean, he said they want him to go full reptilian. I think he might have
he's already half reptilian.
Look at him.
With
He's got
those
that
freaking
snake
nails.
skin.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's got that long, sleek mane. Look, this is a big deal. People are coming out talking about it now.
Butch, if this was back in the day, nobody would pay attention. You'd be considered a kook. But there's a lot of these celebrities that are coming on these podcasts, and you cannot tell me that they're that hard up for video views in a story that they're making this up. There's no way that these guys are making this up. He's not the only one. We're going to go into more. You guys, if you guys haven't seen these clips, I mean, watch this.
Listen, if you want that tour bus to not have the brakes go out tonight,
okay,
I'm just kidding. No one can hear us. No one knows we're talking about.
But is he kidding? Is he kidding, or is he censoring himself because there's a genuine fear here?
He changes the mood right away. He tries to put that humor out there to say it, but we know the truth is underneath that. You don't say things
blonde,
like that.
I guess, is that the Dumb Blonde? This is the Dumb Blonde podcast, by the way. But is that the Dumb Blonde? She didn't seem that dumb. She's actually asking good questions. She's pushing.
She is.
She's sensing that something's going on, that he's got something. She's trying to get at him. It's like Howard Stern, right? The greatest interview. We get the best out of people. The Dumb Blonde is extracting all this reptilian poison out of this guy. But unfortunately, this is a trend because it's not just Jeffree Star who's talking about seeing reptilians. I mean, what world are we living in today, Butch, where talking about seeing and dealing with reptiles is now the norm?
Yeah.
I mean, just when you think stuff can't get any weirder, you got Robbie Williams.
International pop star, phenom.
I was in bed with a woman, right? I'm lying on the pillow and I'm looking at her face, right? Her face turned into what I could only describe as a reptilian.
Oh, listen.
My face went, oh my God. She looks at me and she says, I'm not a reptilian.
This is coming out now on the heels of all this UFO disclosure, of all the wars, all the things that are going on. For the average person, you've got to be scared right now. When you start seeing people talk openly about faces turning into reptilian faces, I think we have a problem here, Sundance.
But the concept of a demonic reptilian creature has been around for the longest times, and every religion has another term, whether it's Satan or whether it's jinn or whatever it is, right? There's a million explanations. Who's that guy that wrote the book about the dinosaurs walking upright? Some dinosaur got it on with the human, and next thing you know, Dale Russell.
Yeah, Dale Russell.
Next thing the dinosaur can walk upright. He's carrying a briefcase. So these things happen, right? But here's the thing. Nobody was talking about this, right? You saw something in your basement. You were messing around with the Ouija board. You conjure something. Maybe you tell your girlfriend. Maybe you tell your brother. Maybe you tell your sister. You don't go on a podcast and start telling people. This was a morning show. This wasn't even like Art Bell, this Robbie Williams guy.
Yeah.
This is a morning show. This is you're on your way to work.
Yeah, tea and crumpets.
Tea and crumpets.
Yeah.
He's telling you some girl he's with was a freaking reptilian.
Yeah. And these
then
guys
she
are
denies
laughing.
she denies that she was a reptilian. What's that about? So she obviously knew that he saw her change.
Right.
What's going on here, Butch? Is this all tied to the end times? And is this where we're at? Because
I think there's a lot going on. Yeah.
It's not the only one. You got, what's his name? The Smashing Pumpkins guy.
He was the first one.
I think he was the OG when it came to
talk about it, at least publicly.
Let's see what he has to say. Wait, you guys, if you guys have not seen this clip, this is Billy Corgan, frontman, Smashing Pumpkins, got a podcast out, went on a Howard Stern show, and he told this story.
Let's just say I was with somebody once and I saw a transformation that I can't explain.
The person.
That was the first time he did Stern, and he's telling the story. And I don't think he goes into it in this clip. We can't play too much of this for obvious reasons. I think you guys know that. But he's with a girl, and they were getting it on. And that's when this happened.
Transformed into something other than human.
Yes, I saw it.
It is a famous name. Well, sort of famous name. But what's the girl's name?
Yeah,
So we have no
so
idea.
The conjecture or the rumors that it's
Disclaimer.
Tila Tequila.
Tila Tequila, she was on a
she's
reality
internet
show.
personality, yeah.
She's quoted in this article saying, so back in 2012, and I think that was around the time this happened,
Right.
I was in Hollywood, and I was in the world of Satan. I was possessed by Satan, Tila said in the video. Hollywood is a platform built by Satan. They kept sending me to doctors to overdose me and kill me, end quote, Tila Tequila. You guys decide.
Well, you couple that with what Jeffree Star said, people coming to him, Hollywood saying, listen, go full reptile, meaning turn to the dark side. In every culture, these reptiles exist. Of course, you got David Icke wrote that book about it that is, widely banned, ostracized. It's a lot of dark stuff in there. And
I read that book in '99. That book made me sick to my stomach.
Stuff we can't even say.
Stomach. I don't even want to talk about that book.
No.
However, that's the whole point of the book is reptilian shapeshifting. Talking about people in politics, people in
high places,
Parliament, high places in England, in the UK, in the US. That's the genesis of his theory. Okay.
Well,
this concept's been around a long time. You have the underground tunnels in LA, right, where the alleged lizard people live. There's supposed to be some underground city in LA where literally it's a city of lizard people. It was a story. It was done.
Yeah, you couple that with what former U.S. Representative Matt Gaetz just said on a podcast, that he's been briefed by government officials about a hybrid alien-human breeding program that the United States government is involved in. And you've got this Australian senator who's come out and said that he's been recently briefed in a top secret briefing that it's true. And the only thing he did say was that you'd be shocked at who's in the public eye that is part alien, part reptile. Who knows if it's related? If you're asking me, I think this is a wake-up call for all of us.
It seems like there's this disclosure in tandem with the admission of people who have had dealings with these things, whether they're hybrids, aliens, things from another dimension. You got this. You ever hear Elizabeth April? She's all over TikTok.
14.
Okay.
So I was remote viewing, awakened, and started doing what I was doing in 2010. It was like they targeted me. They wanted to take me down and out before I got to this point, basically.
Right.
So they planted this reptilian shapeshifter man in my life. It was just like, oh, wow, like so synchronistic. I actually met him at a hippie festival, believe it or not. It was just so wild.
I believe it.
He had like weird abilities. Like he could be looking this way and hear someone walking behind him and explain exactly who that person is and what they look like and probably what they do for a living. Pretty much a year into it, I was like hosting this like party at my house, and I like got up on this chair to get something from like a tall cupboard, comes over to me to like help me down. He looks at me and he's like, "You're mine, right? Like, you are my woman." As he says that, his like steel blue eyes shift into full yellow slits reptilian eyes, and it was like everything came all into the light in that one moment. And I looked at him and he said, "Oh my god, are you okay? It looks like you've seen a ghost." And I'm like, "No, I'm fine." And immediately I'm like, I need to get as far away from this man as possible. And one of the things that they're able to do, right, these reptilians, it's like spell casting. Like they are able to completely put you under this spell or trance or illusion. Like he even spell casted my whole family. Like they loved him, thought he was this great guy, like had no idea how manipulative and gaslighting and abusive and like possessive he was the whole time. I didn't even know. And it took me like a solid 3 to 5 years to fully break the spell.
That's crazy. Hold on a second. She was with this guy for 3 to 5 years. She's with this reptile.
Well, no, she's saying it took her 3 to 5 years to break the spell that he casted on her. That's even crazier. Look, here's the deal. The more I hear about these things, the more we study these, Sundance, the more we see these stories come out, the more I'm convinced that this is not natural. This is demonic activity, that these reptilians are demons.
Well, the one thing is for sure is they're not human the way we are, right? As far as I know, I can't shapeshift. Okay. I think you have choices in life. You could either behave like a reptile, you can use the reptilian part of your brain, or you can kind of lead into the loving part, right? You could either choose to go reptile or you can choose to act out of love. That's your choice. That's the free will we all have. What's odd is that there are so many stories of people changing into reptiles. And of all the things that you can change into, if you're going to make something up, why would you make that up, right? You would change into something else. And it's always the same thing. It's always the eyes. It's always the eyes that change.
Where's Father Ripperger when you need him to ask the question, right? He talked about
he's right there. He's seen women turn into wolves, morphs.
That's right.
Right? So
yeah, and gray aliens, yeah. But he didn't mention reptiles.
I think it's all coming from the same source, my friend, and I think you're 100% right. And I think you got to stay prayed up on these end times that we're living in. These are really, really strange times, and anything could happen at any minute. And you need all the prayers that you can get for you and your family, because you just don't know who your real enemy is out there. Now, maybe these people are just in it for the clicks and the views. Maybe there's some truth to what we're saying. Maybe we're at the precipice of something really serious, really nasty happening.
Keeping this from you. This is the underground city that was found beneath Los Angeles by a man named Warren Shufelt. It was discovered using a device he invented to detect underground tunnels and caverns. Shufelt mapped out a network of passageways stretching for miles beneath the city. And here is where it gets crazy. His maps indicated a central chamber filled with gold and advanced artifacts. Shufelt said that upon analysis of the artifacts and the scriptures found within the passageways, they all pointed to a lost continent named Lemuria. Despite his groundbreaking findings, city officials abruptly shut down his excavation. They officially claimed that the tunnels were old subway lines. But this is where they messed up. The Los Angeles subway system didn't begin operation until 1990, over 70 years after Schufelt's discovery. So what subway lines were they referring to? Some speculate that they were referring to an ancient civilization that had access to a subway-like system. Some have even gone further to say that the city officials had knowledge from the future. They knew that Los Angeles would eventually have a running subway system in the years to come. Therefore, it would be the perfect cover-up, perfectly concealing its true origins.
Why don't you have a team of people busting through those subways looking for this thing, looking for these passageways? This is crazy.
Maybe it's where Gavin Newsom lives. Maybe he's got a summer house underground with the lizard people. It's possible, the way things are going, depending on who you talk to. I'm kidding. Listen, why aren't people talking about it? I don't know. That story's been around a long time, and it's underneath LA, where you probably have most of the lizard sightings in the history of lizard sightings. Most of them take place in LA. Hollywood, man. It's just nuts. What's going on? What is going on?
I think we're about to find out. If you like this video, you found it interesting, do us a favor, like and subscribe. It really makes a difference.
Stay prayed up, guys. You're going to need them.
See you soon.
It's the Butch and Sundance Show.